Three coming up. Let me just voice record. Alright, so welcome back everybody. You're watching the Premier League Season 3. This is Meet Your Makers versus Team Dignitas, tied up 1 apiece in a best-of-3 series. Whoever wins this one walks home with a victory. Now, my name is Trumpetman. I will be casting this match, but Team Dignitas, well rather Meet Your Makers, they were off to a good start. Completely crushed Dignitas in Game 1. Unfortunately, complete turnaround in Game 2. Dignitas really just hammering it back there with their tiny combo and bounty hunter ganks. Meet Your Makers just falling apart. Now I should mention that Meet Your Makers, they did have a European server on Game 1, however Game 2 was a US server, so take what you will from that. Game 3 now being an EU server once again. MYM though open up with a Darkseer ban. In fact, they got their hands on Darkseer in the previous match. Didn't do a whole lot for him. Also, we do have a ban here from Linnea. Once again, Dignitas not allowing her on the field. Not too surprising. I'm kind of expecting to see Batrider get banned as well. Really, it just is the flavour of the month at the moment. Anti-Mage going to be banned though. Going to make sure MYM can't get their hands on that. Alright then. That's a very, very early AM ban. But a lot of heroes going to slip through. And it looks like Rubik will get manage to make his way through. Of course, Rubik is a relatively common ban in the current meta. But he has managed to slip through this time around. We do have the Batrider banned instead, of course. Bat being rather crazy since his buffs. Dignitas though, they do have the first pick here, and what will they open up with? And it is going to be the Rubik pick straight up there. And the question is, will MYM decide to open up with some of their own AoE, or will they decide to just go with something a little bit safer? Of course, Rubik, as we've seen, the Black Hole or a Ravage stolen at the right moment is utterly game-changing. That is it. Nature's Prophet going to be picked up, though, by MYM. Jakiro also being selected as well. The question is, are we going to see MYM decide to chuck Nature's Prophet in the jungle, or will they decide to suicide solo him? I guess we'll find out shortly. And I'm just kind of hoping we'll see another Earthshaker with the Jakiro. That was actually really, really effective. That said, though, this time round, we do have the Anti-Mage ban. Of course, it was an Earthshaker Jakiro Anti-Mage tri-lane, a defensive tri-lane, holding off an enemy lane. It did work out. It worked out very, very well. Of course, the Ice Path as well as the Fissure, it's really strong in terms of defensive stuns. The double pick for Dignitas, though. The question is whether or not Rubik will be a support hero, whether or not he's going to be a solo mid. Now, kinda. Well, I think we'll figure that out in a second once we see the next couple of picks, whether we see something that's going to be picked up at Fogged or not. Now the next... nope, they're going to go into open time. Okay, so Dignitas is going to spend the time through here. Now Rubik, of course, very flexible. Can be a suicide. We've seen him suicide solo, take the solo mid, take a jungle, support from the jungle, hard support in a tri-lane, do pretty much everything and anything that he can be asked of him. We'll see. Can't really tell where he's going with it just yet. We've got to wait on these picks here from Dignitas to figure out where we might be seeing a few things, but. Okay, no chat here. Nobody's crashed out. They are just taking their sweet time here. Of course, this game does count for a bit indeed. And they will pick up the Tiny. I'm expecting a Wisp in a second as well. I mean, if you're going to pick up the Tiny, there's not really any reason to not grab up the Wisp as well. MYM, though, they grab up the Chaos Knight instead. They will select that out. That gives them a fair amount of fiber. I think we're going to see an aggressive try from them. Again, we're going to see this try going to try and... Basically, they're going to try and get some kills this time around. They managed to chase Tiny from lane to lane, but the issue was they didn't get these kills happening, and this just allowed Tiny... Eventually got his farm happening, and then they got the ganks, the counter ganks happening from the Bounty Hunter, and in the end, Dignitas just spiraled out of control there. But it looks like Dignitas have a very similar lineup in mind. Let's see what they go for, though. It looks like the Shadow Demon will be banned. Of course, Shadow Demon works very nicely as well with the Chaos Knight. The damage amp is fantastic, and of course, the disruption saves are really useful. On top of that, just disruption can set up quite nicely for the Macro Pyre, the Ice Path, etc. It is very, very powerful all round. And honestly, I think Shadow Demon's being a hero that's really been underestimated lately. We saw a lot of him in going back 4 or 5 months. He was very, very common, but as of late, once Rubik hit the pool, actually, people started to stop picking him a lot more. I still think that Shadow Demon is an incredibly viable pick, but he just tends to get underrated. We see the Broodmother being banned out by MYM. They're just worried about those counter push on the opposite lanes here. And they might actually pick off the... Actually, last match they picked off the Windrunner as well, just trying to get rid of some of those suicide solos. Lina also being banned. That definitely makes a fair bit of sense. Enigma being banned out by MYM. We're just going to try and get rid of that annoying jungler. Of course, you don't want something like Enigma sweeping up behind you and just setting up those black holes while you're trying to gank an enemy trial. And it's assuming Dignitas are going for trial. They might just go for dual lanes again. We'll see what they go for. But Dignitas banning out the Lena. Lena and Chaos Knight also particularly common suspects together as well. Chaos Knight just setting things up. Reality Rift, Chaos Bolt, and then Lena following through with some nice big AoE nukes. And Shakira also, of course, can get stuck in there as well. Now the final ban for Dignitas. What are they going to grab up here?
10 seconds remaining.
One more pick here. Or rather, one more ban. I still think it looks like they. Well, it depends what they put in Nature Prophet. Nature Prophet, of course, could be a soft support with Jakira hard supporting, but I think they're looking for another support here for this Chaos Knight. Anything ranging from a Crystal Maiden just a flat out stun. Like they could have thrown something like a Earthshaker if they wanted to. That would definitely fit in there. Sanking, even anything that can throw in a good stun. I think Crystal Maiden would honestly fit really well into that lineup. But we'll see what they decide to go for. And also the solo mids as well. Unless they could actually be planning on a dual mid. That is also a possibility. A dual mid Chaos Knight. We see he can get thrown to those dual mids quite frequently as well. The final ban though is Bounty Hunter. MYM getting rather frustrated by Bounty Hunter ganking like crazy last match. And it really did help Dignitas spiral out of control. The track ganks were absolutely fantastic. And you know what, when you're going to have a gank-oriented lineup with Tiny and Wisp, might as well keep that Bounty Hunter away from him, especially since they still need this Suicide lane picked up. Leshrac also being banned by Dignitas. Leshrac and Lena tend to sort of combo very well in the same fashion with Chaos Knight, so no surprises there at all.
10 seconds remaining.
Does CK counter Wisp Tiny? It's not so much counter Wisp Tiny, it's more the fact that they're going for the aggressive lane. They're just trying to pick people off. I mean, you can't really do a whole lot with your Tiny Wisp combo if you don't get farmed up because Tiny keeps getting killed or Wisp keeps getting killed. So they're just going for something aggressive. Or maybe they're just going to try... They could even be trying to shut down the mid lane. That's also a possibility. And they Dignitas, they go for a... Wow, okay. I'm just wondering if we're going to be seeing a solo Undying here, or if we're going to be seeing Tiny and Wisp with Undying as well. I'm not too sure about that. We'll see. We will see. MYM though. We'll see what they go for here. They are going for that aggressive tri lane. I kind of feel... It depends what the last hero pick is. If it's going to be a couple of solos, then it's probably going to be a dual lane in mid. And then the Nature's Prophet jungler. If it is... If there's another good support thrown in, I think we'll see Chaos Knight, Jakiro, and that extra support thrown into a lane together. But we're going to see these guys... In fact, actually... Oddly enough, MYM, this is their first overtime session. They've actually been picking relatively quickly here. They could go with anything, Disruptor, Crystal Maiden. There are plenty of supports left on the board here for MYM to go with if they do want to go with that. Oh, there we go, Keep It Light. Also, I should have mentioned Keep It Light. Of course, he's a regular suspect for these aggressive Chaos Knight lanes. And it mostly comes down to the fact that Chaos Knight very mana hungry. The thing that stops him from killing something is just running out of mana. And Chaos Knight obviously benefits immensely from Keep It Light backing him up there, despite them being mortal enemies. And actually the usual try-in, in fact, at the moment, I think, is Wisp, Chaos Knight, and Keep It Light. Obviously, because you can tether. Tether, of course, combos nice with Chaos Knight, as well as the fact that you can throw down extra mana with the tether lines as well. But continuing on, we have Invoker being picked up here. That will probably be Fog's hero. I think we may see Rubik, Wisp, and Tiny together. Undying taking the Suicide solo. That or Rubik taking the Suicide solo. But I don't think they'll want a double melee tri-lane, so I think it'll be Rubik, Tiny, and Wisp together, and then Undying taking the solo side lane. They're going to try and get Suicide. They're going to try and get solo versus solo. But the thing is, both teams are going for the aggressive tri-lane. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out. There might be a bit of Benny Hill, cue the Benny Hill theme as both teams start rotating like crazy again. We'll see. Final pick, Shadow Fiend, unexpected. It looks like Nature's Prophet will be in the off lane. It will be Shadow Fiend in the solo mid. Definitely somewhat different. Did not expect that at all, but we'll see how this one goes. In fact, that's something that Fogged has been playing quite a bit, the Shadow Fiend, and playing it quite well indeed. But we'll see if MYM can make this SF work. Definitely a scary pick though. In the mid game, he is very, very powerful. Of course, Requiem in the right moment completely wrecks the team. Even the half damage one at the wrong moment, if you kill him in the wrong spot, he will cause quite a bit of damage as well, especially to some poor unsuspecting hero. But now Dignitas, oh boy. Dignitas and Mitchell, I'm just wondering how they're going to lane this, just because obviously both teams want to get that aggressive tri-lane versus tri-lane, but they are going to wind up in weird lanes.
10 seconds remaining.
We will see. I think I think Nature's Prophet will handle the solo lane a little bit better, so it may be up to Dirge to rotate towards the save lane, but we'll see. Nature's Prophet actually opening up with a Basilius. Okay, that could actually be a jungle Prophet. This may not actually be a Tron. We'll see. Both teams, though, sweeping out towards the bottom lane once again. I'm going to call out the players here. Fogged playing the Invoker. Ties of Time playing Wisp. Snaking playing the Undying. Way too sexy on the Rubik. It looks like Snaking is their Suicide Solo guy, so it will be Undying on the Suicide Solo lane. On A2000 playing that Tiny. And playing for... Oh, wait a minute here. It's a level 1 Roshan attempt. And it is going to... This is why they picked up. It's for the negative armor. Presence of a Dark Lord. And this... I've actually seen this before. It was the Leshrac combo, though. They were using the physical damage... the mixed damage, rather, from Edict. And then the negative armor from Shadow Fiend. To make this happen. And you see they're expecting to find somebody here. They're looking for him. They don't find... I think they've figured it out, though. No, that's brown, or is that orange pinging that? It looks like they've figured it out. They know what's up. They're going to be charging down here looking for the Roshan attempt, and it looks like MYM are going to have to back off, and Illuminate's going to come through. They're causing serious damage, so they might try and fight this. Fade Bolt comes through again, and are they going to try and finish it? It looks like they're going to abandon this attempt. Or are they? Keeper of the Light can do some serious damage in this situation, but it looks like they will back off. I think Dignitas figured it out as soon as they saw that there was nobody in that bottom lane saying, hang on a minute. Something's up here. And I guess people have managed to sort of figure the tweaked a little bit more here that the presence of the Dark Lord, it can be used to do the level 1 Roshan attempt. But I've got to say though, this is going to screw. This is a big blow. The fact that it got interrupted. For MYM, this is a blow and a half, just because look at this. He's having to open up with presence of the Dark Lord, doesn't have the Necromastery, and that is really going to hamper him. You see, look at the damage difference here. 41 versus a flat 60 in terms of last hitting. That is not going to be easy there for Shadow Fiend at all.
It's all the same to me.
And it's really going to slow him down quite a lot. Meanwhile, though, top lane is going to be Wisp as well as the Tiny up there. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Chaos Knight, Jakiro, and it will be kept like they will be forming that trial. They're not really going to be doing a whole lot, though. It will be Snaking and Way Too Sexy up here. Are actually going to be dual laning instead. This is a little bit different. Did not expect this. So they're going to go with the 2-1-2. I think this works out nicely for them. It depends whether or not they want to send the CK top. They do need to clamp down though on Tiny's farm. They cannot let him get out of control. And then we got another Illuminate coming through there. More harassment on Balsam. Balsam really copying the short end of the stick there. Really getting driven back there by Way Too Sexy. And of course the minus health there. Look at his health just drop rapidly. Those decays are not much fun at all. Meanwhile, top lane Calculus has to be very, very careful about A2000 as well as the Wisp getting stuck in on him. And there we go, finally getting his Necromastery, so he will actually start getting some damage. This is going to affect, like last hitting wise, getting one level, or rather harassment wise, Presence of Dark Lord. You see the -3 armor at the moment from Invoker puts him on -1. That's a lot of damage if they start trading hits. Although that said, Invoker can dish it at himself, and as well, since he'll have Quas in a second as well, I don't think against any other hero this might be viable, but at the moment this Presence of a Dark Lord is going to hurt him when it comes to trading hits, just because he can't really trade all that easily with Invoker. Invoker has lots of natural damage there from the Exalt, plus if he starts taking harassment, he can heal up off the Quas. Meanwhile, we should bring up the stats here. It looks like Invoker in fact, Shadow Fiend doing relatively... I really thought he'd be a lot further behind because of that bad start there, but he's on 8-1, 10-4 for Invoker, so he's actually not doing too bad for himself. He has had to spam out a couple of early raises to supplement his last hits, but it's not been too bad. And of course, he's managed to pick up... The main thing is he's got that early bottle, so he can now start shuttling that back and forth and start spamming those raises if it's really necessary. See the rotation mid here at the moment. In fact, I think they're rotating possibly all the way to top. There's no real reason for them to stay mid. And you see there's a couple of hits there from Invoker doing a lot of damage there to Shadow Fiend. It just comes down to the fact the Exhort Rune does a lot, has a lot of bonus damage there. The support's now rotating back to bottom once again, kind of faffing about, to be honest. Not really finding a whole lot of room to do anything. As long as Calculus is headed back to the bottom lane, Chaos Knight's gone top instead. Chaos Knight now going to check top rune, going to find absolutely nothing. Still a lot of running around in circles and not really finding a whole lot. As we see a Sunstrike going to come in doing a lot of damage to Calculus. MYM having to back up, and Illuminate coming through there. And Snaking also backing off. This Tombstone going to get cleaned up in a second. Both teams are taking a lot of damage from that skirmish. They're way too sexy, being driven all the way back. Looks like he'll be doing a lot of the support here, as it will be Snake. Oh, actually no, sorry. We'll be snaking, picking up the farm there. Has opened up with the shield there as well. Tiny rotating the bottom once again. Wisp up on top all by himself though. I think Tiny poured at bottom just to help try and counter attack off that gank there. Meanwhile, Solar mid 17 and 10 there for the Invoker. 13 and 5. Sorry, 12 and 13 and 4 there for Shadow Fiend. It's 14 and 4 there for the Chaos Knight. Tiny sitting on 9 and 2, not farming as well as I thought he would. It looks like the regen rune going to be activated there as it looks like. Here we go, the stun! Oh no, Shadow Fiend in so much trouble. Tiny, all he needs to do is... Oh no, doesn't manage to finish off with a toss. I thought he was going to pick him up and hurl him backwards. Didn't manage to get the angle on that though. And Tiny will allow his opponent to walk away there. Shadow Fiend bottling up as he ran. It was enough to keep him alive there. Also using his health potion as well. A2000 headed back to the top lane. Again, a lot of running around in circles. Not really a lot of progress made from all this running about here. Here with the light, still with his double damage rune, and I've got to say, Shadow Fiend will be counting himself quite lucky to survive that gank there. It looks like Fog. It looks like they're thinking about swinging around behind. They actually throw down a ward there as well from the behind. Just watching out for the TP ganks, any supports coming in there. And I think they might be hoping that Fog pops out and they can gank him. At the moment, the goal difference is very, very close. Same for experience levels as well. No really big changes there. Meanwhile, all this wasted time for Fog, he's allowing Shadow Fiend to catch up in terms of farm, but at the same time, it's allowing the other lanes to sort of grab their own CS. And I think they know, yeah, there we go. Fog knows there's people that are skulking about up there. They have backed off though. Now the pressure is being applied to top. MYM, they have rotated their trialing to top here. Stun gets, Avalanche gets thrown out. Doesn't connect with anything though. And now the question is, can MYM pick off Tiny or Wisp? Tiny or Wisp though, immediately backing off and not sticking around there at all. Forge Spirits. Forge Elements is being brought out by Invoker. It looks like they're just going to try and pick off Shadow Fiend once again. This time, can they seal the deal? Shadow Fiend, though, at this exact point in time, going bottom to check for the 6-minute rune, which may actually end up saving his life. Doesn't find anything. What is it? It's a haste rune top. And now Tiny and Wisp going down the low ground. Going to see each other as they pass by. No, not quite.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Tiny and Wisp now head to the bottom lane, and the ports are coming up towards top. Purple headed towards top. Maybe they can pick off Calculus. Calculus does need to be careful. And it looks like he's actually going to port mid. They've got a bit of a gank running there. The stuns go down there on the Invoker. The first blood goes to Shadow Fiend. And MYM managed to secure a kill. They're probably going to push in on this mid tower as well. They've got the Treants there. Way too sexy is here, but there's not a lot he can do by himself. Still only level 4. Doesn't have that much firepower and Fade Bolt just yet. Dirge also going to be forced to back up as well.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Might not actually clean up the tower in the end, although they do have another... Wow, there we go. There's that catapult. Reinforcements coming in, although Chaos Knight taking a fair bit of damage there from the tower. Is it coming from behind? Wisp is coming from behind. They doesn't really have anybody good to tether up with at the moment. Chaos Knight is actually going to walk straight into him. Tethers up there on top of the Rubik. Nature's Wrath comes through, drops him straight back inside the tether. A stun goes out, 3 seconds there. Cold Snap as well on Chaos Knight. Can he get the distance he needs? Finished off there by a Fade Bolt. Nicely done. Sunstrike not even needed there. Now the kill board, 1 apiece. Now Shadow Fiend actually picks up another kill in... Shadow Fiend actually gets in behind and snipes off Dirge. Dirge actually being driven back there. I think Keeper Light was just spamming him to make him back up. Shadow Fiend jumps in behind. I thought Shadow Fiend had got a kill in mid there. Didn't realise he'd rotated the top. They are just going to put pressure on this top tower here as well. Well, Fog just going to catch up his farm in mid, as it looks like Shadow Fiend has actually managed to pull ahead in terms of farm. SF though going to head back towards mid right now, as it looks like they have got an invisibility rune spotted up for him. He will grab that up before Dignitas can do much about it. Dignitas though, I think, are losing control of the map. The fact that Shadow Fiend can just sort of dive in behind a tower and just do whatever the hell he wants. It's a very dangerous position to be in, and just snipe off heroes is kind of telling. Meanwhile though, the bottom lane, A2000 busy getting this farm happening down here once again. Power Tread's going to be finished up. And it looks like they might be trying to pick up Bolson. Bolson needs to be careful. No, it looks like they're just going to hang back. They're a little bit worried about pressing out. They don't really know where their opponents are. It looks like Twin-Headed Dragon has arrived. Nature's Prophet also showing up. They might try and pick up a kill here. They might not. Invoker, though, gets a deny on the mid tower. As it looks like they're going to try and pick up Twin-Headed Dragon here. The Avalanche does not fly out, and they do not get the tether down either. Ice Path will catch Tiny. Nature's Wrath as well. Can he get a Sprout down here? The Sprout down on the Wisp there. The 4-second stun as well. We've got an Ice Path up in 2. They clean up the Wisp. Tiny has no choice but to go and hide.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
You want the top lane. We're going to see Cupid Light just continue to push his own lane by himself. Easy enough. Just going to keep harassing Dirge. They might actually even have Shadowfiend rotate behind him again. And try and pick off that kill. It looks like the ping's on top. I think they're saying, watch out. Oh, look at the damage. Just snaking, taking so much. Down to 100 health. Unfortunately, this time around, Shadowfiend was not in position to capitalize on that. Avalanche gets thrown in the bottom by A2000. He's going to have to back up here. The tower does get dropped. Balsam taking that for himself. Now, Keep Light also taking a tower up top. Now, the tower advantage, the gold advantage is going to swing sharply to MYM here. There we are, a 3k lead at the moment. And on experience right now, we are up to 750. Not much of an experience lead, but gold is definitely starting to slip away from them. And now Jakiro going to walk headfirst into this potential gank here. Or not, there we go, there's the stun. Chuck as well, combos in on, no, doesn't combo. Avalanche actually on cooldown during that point in time, so couldn't actually combo. And now the counter-attack here, the 3-second stun there on Tiny. Can they get the kill in? There goes the Fade Bolt coming down. I don't think they can get this. A Tombstone also being thrown down by Dirge. Now Balsam trying to run away here. Double damage though on Shadowfiend. Illuminate comes through, doesn't do a whole lot as it looks like they clean up the Chaos Knight in the end. Calculus trying to teleport out. They finish him off though before he can run. This double damage Shadowfiend doing so much damage, but he just cannot get somebody locked down to finish off. Or can he run down this Undying? And Ice Path will lock him down. A raise to finish him off. But it's still a 2-for-1 trade. Not that beneficial in the end. See Tiny nuking back the creep wave there. Here a teleport coming in. It looks like Furion is going to show up to the party. They are just going to try and push down this tower. Get an early tower lead. Get a solid 5-6k gold lead. 4k at the moment. Drop back for a little moment there. So they did lose a couple of heroes. But they are pushing down this tower quite rapidly, quite easily as well. The ports are coming in. Purple's coming in. Oh no, he's going to port straight into Ice Path. 2 seconds stun there from the Chaos Bolt. Dirge in so much trouble. Throws out a Decay. It's not enough. 1v5. No chance at all. Tiny and Wisp are here as well. They will clean up this tower though. There's not much they can do to defend this. Meanwhile though, Blue is in mid. Just pushing away. Says, you know what? Okay, no point in me being bottom lane. No way we're going to hold that. Let me just push mid for a bit. I think the worrisome thing here for Dignitas is they are gradually but surely losing map control. They're losing all these towers. They're running out of safe places to farm. And then on MYM they start throwing down these wards, these counter wards, removing enemy vision, keeping the enemy jungle ward. It's going to become very, very difficult for Tiny to find anywhere at all to farm. And it looks like this time around, okay, they're making a second run here on the Roshan pit. They should be able to get it this time. They didn't get it first, you don't succeed. Try and try again. Shadowfiend now. He should be able to clean this up. So we're going to see Invoker scout this out with the Sunstrike. I think they are going to be too late. They've got 3 heroes on the way, but it's a 3v5. Not really too much chance of winning that. Unless, actually, Wisp and Tiny, of course, could show up. It could be a 5v5 indeed. They are going to try and finish it up, though. Here, Wisp and Tiny showing up. Ice Path goes out, catches the Ruby. Macro Power, Reality Rift straight back. You know what? Tombstone gets dropped here. As it looks like the Avalanche goes out as well. Doesn't really hit anything. Deafening Blast or Nature's Prophet needs to back up there. He's being swarmed by zombies. It is the zombie apocalypse. He gets cleaned up there. They get the kill and the Ice Path goes through again. Catches Snaking. We've got 3 heroes down for MYM. They have a buyback now. Jakiro gets dropped. That's 4 hero kills there for Dignitas. They really swing that one back quite rapidly. In the end, the only hero they lose, I think, was Rubik and possibly Undying. No, not I think Undying died during that. I think it was just Rubik there getting cleaned up. Rubik though doing most of the warding, actually quite squishy indeed. More Illuminates being spammed through there in the mid lane. Experience-wise, a 2k advantage for the Radiant side. Gold-wise, still roughly a 5,000 gold lead for the Dice. I hear another Sunstrike. Again, scouting out this Roshan pit. They're going for a third attempt. And can they finally clean this up? Or will they have to back off once again? I think they know Dignitas is watching them for sure now. That ward there from Dignitas doing work, spotting up people moving towards the Roshan pit. See, we see a mana boost amount being brought out. I think it's possibly going to go to Rubik. Actually, Undying, of course, the other logical choice. He will pick that up. Looks like they're just going to I think they've settled with, you know, if we can't kill Roshan just yet, let's just kill stacked Ancients. And that's exactly what MYM are going to do. Keeper of the Light, though, has finished up his mech. Will it be enough, though? I don't know, as it looks like he's going to send another Illuminate through mid. He's actually getting a fair amount of farm. And most just comes down, he's spamming the crap out of Illuminate, so there's not much really anybody can do to stop him. 8,000 though, 1,300 gold in the bank. Can he start getting parts of his Argon step together, or will it not happen? Depends what he goes for. So we can see the Sunstrike coming once again. It looks like, and the question is Invoker going to keep checking that, or is he going to guess that they're giving up? I mean, MYM, they might just be biding the time, getting ready to go back in there again. Calculus, so just dropping back in the jungle, going to keep farming. He has gone for the Midas builder. He's just trying to get that farm happening, as it looks like he has also picked up Power Treads instead this time around. The Midas is definitely going to help accelerate his gold farm quite a bit and will allow him to have the opportunity to get out of control there. The counter ward's going to be dropped. No counter wards. These teammates, these Radiant guys just sort of skulking around here. I thought they might throw in counter wards to watch for the there we go. His Dire one actually been thrown out, finds nothing, though the Radiant ward squirreled away safely. It doesn't actually quite even spot the Dire counter ward there either. Now checking out the Roshan pit once again. I think it's what they're mostly worried about, the Roshan pit. They don't find anything though. Meanwhile, the pressure is being put on the bottom tower here, the first tier bottom tower. They are going to try and stop that off to try and get on a bit more of an even footing. Meanwhile, Dirge still running around in circles over here. Tower's taking some serious damage, although nobody's really showing up to help. There we go. They are porting back in on the second tier towers there.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
There we go, more Illuminates being spammed. I think another Sunstrike. I mean, I think Invoke is just going to drop that non-stop every minute or so, just to make sure that nobody's in there.
Dire's bottom tower has been denied.
Let's see, Fog, though, hasn't really picked up. Oh, he's got his 4-star at the moment. 16-minute 4-star could be worse. I'm just going to check the gold per minute at the moment. He is only 316. That said, MYM, they do have the Shadow Phoenix farming quite strongly. 392. He has got a pretty strong GPM at the moment. The question is if he can keep this up and on. Of course, a lot of it is coming from tower kills, and they are running out of towers to snipe off at the moment. We need to start pushing for more tier 2 towers. Meanwhile, though, speaking of towers, it looks like Dignitas are planning to get one of their own in the mid lane. Now we see the Forge Elements have been popped there by Invoker. Another Illuminate going to get sent through. Also, Nature's Wrath coming screaming through there as well. Shadow Fiend, BKB is done and dusted though. Things are definitely starting to look quite scary. I think another Sunstrike, yes, on Roshan. No non-stop Sunstrikes there on Roshan. This is of course going to chop a Sunstrike. He won't be able to use in the fights, which is somewhat annoying for him. Tiny and Whisper still doing their own thing, farming the top lane. Of course, they can teleport to the fight whenever necessary. That said, they still have to be careful in mid. They are quite gankable. We're going to see Keep Alive just spam that non-stop to keep these counter pushes rolling, just keeping the Radiant team off this mid tower, just denying them this money that's locked up inside it. You see Shadow Fiend there. I was going to call him Razor. No, Shadow Fiend finds himself a regeneration rune. It looks like Fog calling for another pause. Hopefully we don't have Fog DCing again. MYM calling out the fact that it is quite late. Speaking of late, I've been casting since about 2 AM this morning. Oh boy, it is going late here as well. Pitbull, don't stop the party, why not? Apparently Fog just complained that somebody's inside his house. Okay. Intruder alert. Tiny though, about 1600 gold away from finishing off. Fog says, okay, you should be fine. Okay, odd enough. Tiny though, 1600 gold away from this Argonym, so once he gets this, he can start tearing down these towers quite quickly. If they leave him alone with the tower, he can break it very, very quickly. Also, I'm just wondering if there are... I'm going to try and get some split pushes happening. And now snaking, apparently taking a toilet break. Brilliant. Alright. See the Undying, they're sitting on 800 gold. He's got his Arcane Boots done. It's definitely a very, very useful item for him, just because he's mana hungry and he really needs that pull to be increased. Not only that, but his teammates will benefit off it quite a bit. Of course, Tiny definitely needs it. Very, very greedy on that mana as well, especially without his own pair of Arcane Boots. Still a 5k gold lead here for MYM, and I think most is coming in a Razor farming. Well, experience-wise, though, they have lost their experience lead. It has pretty much dropped down to nothing. That could become painful in the next 10 minutes or so, the fact that they're losing that EXP lead. You know, Tiny's just going to chew his way through that creep wave. There is a counter-attack coming in, though. Here comes Calculus, going to try and drive them back into the arms of Chaos Knight. The Reality Rift not coming out there. Macropie, what was that? That was not well timed at all. And they just teleport out. The will be back in a few seconds. It's only going to be Whisk coming back, though, I think. Tiny actually teleporting to the top lane. They're going to try and get back here. And no, Tiny cancelling the teleport. And Whisk comes back by himself, the sacrificial pawn here. There is no escape. They will actually just have to settle for it. Tiny was porting to this tower for a moment. It looked like he was going to try and rally up with some people and launch a counter-attack before Wisp actually teleported back in. So Shadow Fiend though still he's going to find the bottom lane. Nothing really happening down there. And Rubik has been stealing Shadow Razors for the moment. I don't know which one that is. We'll find out, I guess. And the counterattack's coming down. Oh boy, it looks like Shadow Fiend some serious trouble. The 4-star forge go for the block. Cold Snap. They get the stun down though from Avalanche, and it looks like Shadow Fiend will just teleport on out. Pops the BKB. Easy as you please. Teleports out. That's exactly why he's carrying that TP scroll. Keeps him safe. Sekiro though is actually interesting. Actually not level. This is weird. This is a slightly different Sekiro build. Normally we see Ice Path maxed, maybe one level on Liquid Fire, and then Dual Breath maxed. And getting macro, and they get macro pyre every now and then as well.
Top tower
Getting the 2 levels in Liquid Fire is definitely somewhat different and somewhat surprising. The fact that he's not bothering with the dual breath all that much. So we'll see what he's got planned. They keep like another 900 gold in the bank. Tiny getting closer and closer there. Find another illusion rune being bottled up there by Shadow Fiends. Looks like they're going to make another run on this Roshan. Can they get it this time around? I think it might have been a little bit obvious. And there we go. They're checking it out with a Sunstroke. The question is, can they finish it up before the Radiant rally up this time? That's the main question. It looks like we've got Bogged here. And of course, Tiny and Wisp can show up at a moment's notice. In fact, they're just going to port straight in the air now. Balsam in some serious trouble. Balsam likely to die. Gets chucked in the middle of the fray. The Shadow Fiend pops a Requiem. Doesn't do a whole lot though. Doesn't get a good position on it. Down goes the Tombstone. Dirge is now on the run. Macropie did some serious damage there. As now the Ice Path gets thrown out once again. They finish off the Dirge. Illuminate going screaming through there as well. Can they pick off a Rubik? 3 seconds stun him. Looks like it's going to happen there. Telekinesis not going to be enough to save him, and they get a whole nice bunch of kills there. They'll buy back there from Dirge. Rubik's still down. Dirge still working on what appears to be a mech. And at long last, they might finally get rid of this Roshan. There's a minion. Okay, Nature's Prophet building the Necrobook minions there.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
A bit of a counter push there from Tiny and Wisp. They do actually manage to take out that tower, and Tiny is about 100 gold away from his Arcanum Scepter. Tiny playing it kind of ballsy here. Very, very low health. He could jump it in a moment's notice there. He is actually going to teleport back. Last to heal up. And Calculus still holding this mid tower off here. Surprised they still have not lost this tower. Really giving them a lot of map control at the moment. And now it looks like Chaos Knight will be building directly to... it looks like he'll be building directly towards a BKB, I think. Just to help him out with the stuns and lockdowns. Shadow Fiend though, just going to raid. It looks like he's going to farm the jungle for a little bit. Just going to get those raids down. Because at the moment, this top area is not safe to farm. Can't really push up there. So he's just going to disappear in the jungle. No real pressure coming from the Radiant side at the moment. See Tiny there with his big stick. He's going to blast his way through those creep.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, Invoker, it looks like he's going for... And it looks like he's going straight for a Hex at the moment. Has picked up that Ultimate Orb. Counter wards get thrown in there by both parties, spotting up Radiant wards. And there we go. Actually, Trent going to send in his pre-puppets to clean things up for him. Radiant going to lose vision of the Roshan Pit as I hear Cold Snap come down. Balsam may have overstayed his welcome. Gets hit by an avalanche as well. Here comes Ice Path. Sunstrike comes in, does a lot of damage there. The toss through, but down goes Chaos Knight. Can they get a revenge kill? They do manage to pick off the Wisp, but they want more than that. They did lose a Chaos Knight after all. A 4-star forwards there for Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend moving in. Can he get there for good? Unlikely though. Unlikely to get off a good ultimate there. You guys know lockdown to follow up. Will work with. Shadow Fiend now looks like he's working towards his Manta style. So see the push here on mid. MYM going to make their presence known here on the mid lane. Going to try and force down this mid tower. 7.5k gold lead still for MYM. Gold wise a 4k experience, experience wise 4k lead there. That is definitely getting very, very painful for Dignitas. That continual experience lead. As it looks like Shakiro almost hitting level 10 there. Ice Path through, doesn't quite hit, way too sexy. No counter push on the bottom lane, just going to let it push naturally. This Nature's Prophet finds himself a level 3 Necro all at once. Spends that money. Here we go. Now he's got some serious firepower in these fights. Of course, level 3 Necro book. It is only 25 minutes in. Not really a lot that people can do to deal with that.
There it goes.
Well, Chaos Knight looking around the bottom lane. Still, he's actually worried about being ganked there. He's actually going to back off.
Boots and run.
Another Illuminate coming through there from Kid Black. Just going to send it out just because. Shadow Fiend still farming away there in that jungle there. He's getting close to his ultimate orb for that Manta style. Once he gets out, he's got all of his core items done. He'll be ready to fight pretty much. And right now, I get the feeling that MYM's sort of backing off, waiting for Shadow Fiend to hit critical mass, and then they'll move in with him. See Calculus though, not really. Just wondering if he's going for the push build. Do they have a mech? Do they have a pipe on the way? Something they could do with the pipe, Of course, Furion, his superpower is money, has loads of it, so he can quite easily pick a pipe. It's one of those nice heroes to have, just because anything you need item-wise, Furion can get it for you. And in this case, I think we'll probably see a pipe up in a little while. This will just help deal with Tiny's Wombo combo, and also the fact they have a fair amount of magical damage there on the Radiant side anyway.
Come to me.
It looks like MYM, they will be moving in. They're going to take another run at this mid tower. It's down to about half health. There we go, Glyph gets popped there. Nature's Wrath comes coming through there. See, I hear a Sunstrike. Does some damage to Calculus. Doesn't do a whole lot though. He will not take critical damage. It looks like they will just clean up this tower. No defense is being mustered. The Radiant happy to sacrifice this tower. Meanwhile, Rubik planning to come in from behind. The counter push is on top. Wisp and Tiny are up there. They slam down that tower. Meanwhile, though, in the mid lane, it looks like they're going to have to come back because the push is on this Rax. We've seen the minions get popped out there. The Necronomicon minions. Cold Snap there on the Chaos Knight. Can they pick him up? 4 staffs away. The Chaos Meteor does absolutely nothing. Nice use on those 4 staffs indeed. Now we've got the port out there from Keep for the Light. It looks like he's just pointing back top to defend it. Tiny Wisp, on the other hand, decided to back off, decided not to stick around. So, yeah, going for the gank there. Chaos Knight needs to run for his life. The Tether, they're going to speed him up. They get the Avalanche down. Can they get the Tether stun as well? Here comes Nature's Prophet. They get this toss on him. The 4-second stun there on Tiny. But he should be able to escape, although here comes Invoker as well. Tiny the Wisp disappears out. And now we've got the ultimate coming out from Shadowfiend. Gets tossed though, goes right through the magic community. He might get killed here. Gets cleaned up by Tiny. Just bitch slaps him through that with his tree. Does not care about the magic community. And again, can Shadowfiend get up his ultimate? That's like the 3rd time it gets cancelled. Gets off a half ult. And that's a bit of a sad consolation prize there. 3 down on MYM's side. None in return there for Dignitas. Nicely played by them. And in the end, they held their ground and just cancelled that Requiem of the Souls time and time again. Check the gold chart at the moment. It's around about 7.5k gold advantage. We see that the experience swing back sharply. Only a 3k lead at the moment. And now Dignitas, they will be chewing away on this mid tower. They bring it down at the very last. And of course, it comes down to Tiny with his crazy Arcanum Scepter there. It looks like he's going to go for a Manta style next. Has picked up a Blade of Alacrity. And Invoker finishes up his Hex as well. Oh boy. Dignitas now starting to look quite dangerous indeed. We see that the GPM's there. Shadowfiend is still on top, but not by nearly as much. And Tiny is rapidly catching up as well. We see Invoker though. Smoke Deceit. It looks like they're going to try and get a pick off here, and there's plenty of heroes to pick off in this jungle. So they're just going to sweep around up the top there. I think they were hoping someone was going to pop out and try and stop this push here, but in the end they aren't getting anything from it. Meanwhile though, it looks like MYM are stacking up again. They're probably going to head mid, I think, and head to the Roshan pit again, possibly. Actually no, Roshan's still in cooldown, never mind, what am I saying? Of course, Shadowfiend has already used up that Aegis, so not going to be really that useful. Both teams trying to smoke gang through each other's jungles, finding absolutely nothing, and in the end turning out to be a huge waste of time. SF cleaning up a few camps there as well. Nature's Prophet sending an ult through at the same time, just going to help push. And now the top lane, they are needed up there. The second tier tower is under threat here, and is likely to fall if nobody from MYM shows up there. It looks like they're just going to try and hold it off there with Illuminates. Tiny now picking up the crystals for those crits. Tiny starting to get really, really scary at this point in time. He's got that sort of that window of opportunity where he can really out-carry Shadowfiend. Just needs to get those hits in. And there we go, they can start pushing out this mid as well. Look at that tower melt. There's absolutely nothing you can do about this. Tiny's has been given tower after tower after tower, just eating them up. Now he has his Arcanum Scepter. Looks like Dignitas are playing it safe. They will back up here. I think they're going to wait for the next set of major items before they try and push in here. They might even wait on BKBs before they go for it. Illusions in the mid lane there. See, Shadowfiend has finished up his... Well, there we go. He's going to pop it out there. Pops out his Manta style, but nobody is really close enough there to help out all that much and stop him from farming. Although here they come in now. I think they know. I think they suspect something's going on in there. That was the Rosh pit. Yeah, they scout the Rosh pit with the Forge Elements. Don't find anything though. Meanwhile, looks like Keeper Light's going to be doing a little bit of jungle, and it looks like they are going to try and take back map control. They do have this counter, there's gem purely for counter ward. It's really good play here from MYM, just making sure they get control of this map, trying to make it harder for Tiny and Wisp, or anybody just to roam around, set up kills, and of course make them play more defensively. The gold-wise, the gold chart has dropped quite dramatically, only a 2.5k, roughly 2.5k advantage there for the dire side. Experience-wise, again, big drops, pretty much stocks down. It's pretty much the same now. Calculus now just going to chew through this creep. Both teams, I think both teams being really cautious just because they don't want to make a mistake and then just basically throw the game, throw the series, because once they do, there is no coming back. And MYM here, they have to play relatively defensive just because they are quite vulnerable, getting picked off just about any moment. There, see Keep Light going to charge up and illuminate. Just to check out the Roshan pick to make sure the Radiant weren't doing it. As Radiant did duck in there as well, just check things out as well. Although, are they possibly going to try and attempt something here with the Roshan pit? Doesn't look like it. I hear another Illuminate coming through here. As Keep Light has been spotted up there. It's a stun as well. The Chuck on top of it. Gem has been dropped. A catastrophic result. Ice Path goes through as well. And now, nope, they destroy it. Okay, then I was about to say they can take that gem and counter ward with it and get map control, but they say, you know what, let's just kill it. I just think it comes down to the fact that Rubik's got it. That's probably why. Got a gem of his own. And now the Radiant going to be doing Roshan. Can MYM muster any kind of defense? I don't think so. It looks like they're not even coming anywhere near it. They said, yo, okay, stuff it. We can't win this fight. Let's back off from farm. Tiny just chewing through his health pool there. That Argent Scepter is very strong. Jakira's a hero I haven't seen a whole lot from so far at the moment since the laning phase. See if we can make anything happen over here. Set up a long range kill there with the Ice Path or something. But at the moment, all the Dignitas guys are running around the mid lane and the jungle as well.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Wisp now still staying tethered to that Tiny, of course. As soon as he dies, Tiny's going to lose a lot of attack speed. The Chuck up in the air because, honestly, just because Tiny can. Now Shadow Fiend, another 1.8k in the bank. Might even see something like a butterfly get popped out here in a second. That would really help his survivability against this Tiny if necessary. Calculus just chilling in the trees there. Going to be lucky if he doesn't get spotted. They don't check it. They just run right past it. And Calculus lucky to escape there. If they'd gone in there and checked things out, he would have gone toast. And he teleports to the bottom lane, to the bottom Ancient Camp. Just can take that out. Chaos Knight still catching up his farm up here as well. I'm just going to check the individual CS here. Tiny pulling ahead. Chaos Knight barely anywhere with only 93 CS at the moment. Let me bring up chart again. Still slipping gradually towards the Radiant side, and again the experience chart very even. As it looks like, here we go, Dignitas, they smell weakness, they are going to try and take out a Rax here. There we go, Illuminate gets thrown through, Ice Path as well, doesn't find anything. And are Dignitas actually going to gun this, or will they pull out? Looks like they're pulling out, unfortunately. They get scared of this mass nukes and said, stuff it, we're out. I think they're going to possibly look for a pick-off before they go. Chaos Knight possibly building himself a Heaven's Halberd here. So there we go, they're porting in. Where are they going? They go to the bottom lane. They are going to try and take out Bolson. Bolson though pops his BKB and teleports out. Keeper Light has got his own travel, so they're going for a bit of a global push. Going for a bit of that global push there on the Keeper Light. I'm just wondering if he's going to pick up Yules or something next as well. There he goes to start to spam. And it's very difficult to push against this spam that's coming out from Keeper of the Light. Not quickly anyway. Furion though, working towards his own hex, has pretty much got it done and dusted. has got that ultimate, enough money for this staff as well. So it looks like we've got a bit of a clash here in mid. The Tether healing up the Tiny though with the mech there as well. What did Rubik steal there? Probably a Chaos Bolt. Yes, it was a Chaos Bolt. Shadow Fiend though, just teleporting back to mid. They are mastering the defense here, and Dignitas I think are a little bit too scared to go on. They might just go swing around and try and push a different lane instead, or they might just try and bait someone out in a second. And there we go. Nope, decide not to. The Tiny was going to go in for a second. He still has that Aegis. And Dignitas, they just pull out entirely. They decide, you know what, let's stuff it, let's just keep farming. They pull back there. I'm really not too sure. I think they're waiting possibly on a couple of BKBs for a couple of heroes there. Undying though, his finished pipe is finished. Mech? I'm actually quite surprised. I guess they're waiting for items on the Tiny, although he's got his core ones done. Might be possibly trying to wait on his Manta or something. For people wondering about the Sange on Wisp, I'm actually not dead sure where he's going with that. I think mostly it's just to bulk him up a bit, and also he might possibly be hoping to get a Heaven's Halberd. That is definitely useful for shutting down heroes like Shadow Fiend. Getting his auto attack off him, which can be quite powerful, especially when he's got the souls in there. And Heaven's Halberd is not a terrible item if you're playing support hero, just because he is another pseudo disable. The shout to Carlicott, who has managed to return to the chat there, but it looks like Cal's not going to back up there. 1700 gold in the bank still. And both teams, again, still taking this one very, very slow and methodically. And we go smoke gank here from the Radiant side. If they can get a pick up here, maybe they can set something up to push. Furion, though, porting back to the mid lane. Smoke gank finds 0 potential targets there, unfortunately. Tiny and Wisp still sticking together like best buddies. It's mostly going to come down to if they're needed, they'll just teleport in Tiny, and the Wisp will detach after 10 seconds or so. It's easy enough there, but at the same time, they are getting farmed right now. MYM are not. They are stuck, bottled up in their base. Nature's Prophet, he has finished off his Hex. It's definitely going to help things out quite a bit. Having that extra disable, always useful. Can just try and shut down Tiny. In fact, I think it's going to come down to a game of shut down Tiny. Way too sexy though, playing very boldly by himself, just charging around, going to be doing counter warding all by himself. Hasn't really got much of an idea of what could be waiting for him. Find himself an Invis rune as well. Okay, so Shadowfiend 4.4k in the bank. Why does he go? I think he's just possibly partially saving for buybacks at the moment. He probably, I kind of feel like a butterfly is most likely on him. Invasion is always helpful, as well as the fact that he will be able to. It will give him a lot of damage, a disgusting amount of damage as well. But we'll see. Both teams is jungling up here. Both teams are playing very, very cool. There's not much they can, like, right now Dignitas are very worried about pushing it, because they're worried about somebody getting picked off by a Chaos Knight, or even just Shadowfiend getting into a good position with his Requiem and just causing him a ton of trouble. They really, both teams really want to get these ganks happening before they start moving in. I think that's their game plan here. Before they start moving, they need to get those ganks happening. Tiny, though, finishes the full Bariza. Oh, excuse me. Wait and see how much he crits for, because that is definitely quite scary indeed. I thought he was going for the Mantis. Ooh. I thought he was going for the Mantis style there. And we got the pawn up top. Can they get a kill here? Nature's Prophet, an easy kill. didn't really even need the Tiny or the Wisp. Rivik now has also picked up point booster. Looks like he'll be picking up a Bloodstone if necessary, or just, you know, using it as a rather large stat booster. And now Dignitas is going to get moving on this top racks. Can they finally set something up here? As it looks like, well, Shadow Fiend's there. They don't really have anybody else at the moment, though. They should hopefully be carrying TPs. There we go. They are porting back right now to hold off this push. Dignitas, are they going to wuss out once again, or are they actually going to follow through for a change? We will see in just a moment. So excuse me, these hiccups are rather frustrating. And then we're piping up. There we go, Dignitas. They will commit this time. Ice Path goes through, catches out those 4 heroes. A great Ice Path, but no follow-up, no Macropine, no nothing. As you see, an Illuminate getting charged up there. Does come screaming through there. Another Ice Path goes out, doesn't catch anything though, and they are just going to remote push for now. They are just going to remote push there with the Fiends, but it looks like another Barriza is done, or rather a Daedalus in this game. Shadow Fiend has his own one there as well. It's going to be crit versus crit. Who can hit harder? I think Tiny can possibly, just because he's relying on a lot of buffs there. Shadow Fiend less so, mostly under his own steam. There we go, this time around. Looks like, are they looking for Rosh? Dignitas though, Chaos Mid is going to push that mid creep wave back. Both teams realize that Roshan is up in a second, and both teams really want this Roshan hanging around there, as it looks like they will get a pick off though. Down goes Dirge, who's I don't really know what Dirge was doing. The snaking kind of being a bit of a Carla, getting the house Carl. Just 1v in the middle of nowhere, just sort of by himself doing nothing, and his teammates just kind of left him there. Now with that one hero down, looks like MYM are going to use this opportunity, going to try and bring down Roshan. It's number 3 as well. It will give away a cheese. I guess Sunstrike coming in once again, spots him up, but this time around they can clean him up too quickly before any defense can be mustered. And we see the cheese going to Chaos Knight there. It looks like Aegis, yes, Aegis on the Shadow Fiend. And now MYM have a good opportunity to start pushing in. They've got that level 3 Necro book, which honestly at this point in time is 44 minutes is not that good, but at the same time it's still nice for remote pushing, just causing a they're trying to get a team off the high ground. And they know they've got a good chance here. They are going to press in. As looks like Tiny and Wisp doing their own thing down the bottom lane. They are just going to try and counter push, get the farm rolling down there while they wait. Now Calculus, what has he got? Can he get this trance? He's going to start moving the trance in. They're going to pop out the tree. There's Forge Elements as well. Good. Dampening Blast goes through there. It catches absolutely pretty much everything. Now we see the Necro Book means copying a lot of that damage there. Here comes the Luna. Here comes the Meteor though. Doesn't really hit anything at all. Wisp and Tiny though, right on top of Chaos. 4-staffed away. Fantastic 4-staff there. But they are going to try and pick off Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend goes down. Down goes Nature's Prophet while he flies back. He will be teleporting back in. Macro Pyre in there as well. Illuminate. Wisp is down. Wisp is dead. So is Dirge once again. Buyback from Prophet. He should be back in this fight in just a second as well. As we're going to see Shadow Fiend still in this fight. Did they kill the Invoker? They got the Invoker, but he brought back as well. Oh, excuse me. Tiny now moving straight back in. Can he hold them off? Another stun getting thrown through there. Chaos Knight. That is a 1k crit there on Chaos Knight. It is he gets absolutely crushed by that. A 4-staff away off the Calculus, trying to keep him alive there. And MYM, they just get tossed back. But not after. They do get some serious damage there on the tower. But at this time, Dignitas, they hold the line. It was a buyback, ton of buybacks on both teams, but Tiny doing some really, really serious damage there. He has got his own Mana Stone, and Tiny picks up some lifesteal now as well. He's gone for the Helm of the Dominator. I think we'll see a Satanic out of him. And see a gank coming in. They are going to try and pick up Nature's Prophet, who's getting jumped here. They miss the stun though, although they actually, no, they get Tether stun down as well though. Nature's Prophet has popped his Necro Book there, but gets cleaned up by a toss.
Look out for falling.
And you saw him keep it like trying to help out there with a blind, but it was just a little bit too late. Charged up with the ultimate DD though on Invoker. The counter attack now from the Radiant side. Oh, cheese drop. Somebody dropped cheese. What? Chaos. I think it was Chaos Knight dropping the cheese for somebody else there. Okay, and they're giving it to Shadow. To give it to Shadow Fiend here. They've still got a good 40 seconds though to try and make something happen. The tower's down to half health. Dignitas could go in here. There we go. Tiny's being tethered up there. Another Illuminate coming through. Didn't land this time though, so the creeper will actually move up there. Ice Path getting thrown out. They are going to commit though. They've thrown down they've thrown out the pipe there. Macropie gets popped out as well. Glyph gets popped by the dire side, but down goes Keeper Light, a Sunstrike in there on Shadowfiend. Shadowfiend gets taken out. Does he have a buyback? Well, no, he does not. Tiny going to town there on Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight getting slammed. He's trying to back out. Tiny, though, having none of that. He's going to give chase. And Ice Path will catch him, though, but managing to finish him off there as they clean up the Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight, though, buys back. Keeper Light, though, still dead. Can they cause enough damage here to try and stop them? Chaos Knight buys back. Gets immediately destroyed by Tiny. The alacrity bonus is ridiculous. They're going to take down the bottom tower as well. They're taking mid tower. Are they going to go for the racks as well? They're just going to clean up all of these creep here as well. They might need to back off though. The counter attack is coming in hard and fast. Shadowfiend buys back on top of that, and they will need to back off. They do not get the racks. I feel should have just focused the mid racks, and they miss out on a big opportunity there. It's another Cyclone thrown through the Invoker there, who has actually leveled up. I think he has actually started leveling Wex just because he doesn't need that final. I know, Broken, I know, it is driving me nuts. I cannot shake them at the moment. But it looks like, where were we with that train of thought though? It looks like I just don't know why they're just not gunning. They could have. I don't know why they went down here and took this tower. That tower could have been this Rax here. Obviously at this point in time, losing a single Rax is not a huge blow, but I still think it would have been better than getting the second tower. I think they just got greedy and said, you know, they thought they could get both Raxes, but Shadow Fiend bought back and then chased them off. Shadow Fiend still has that cheese though. Has also picked up a quarterstaff there. Smoke gank, they're looking for something. I hear a Sunstrike come out. The Invoker searching for a target. Very, very random Sunstrike there. Doesn't really spot anything though. And now they're looking for Tiny as well, but it's just going to be his illusions chopping away at creep. They could pick off Tiny. That would be a pretty strong win there, although he does have buybacks. Yes, he does have buybacks up. The dire sides though still smoke. Can they pick up a kill here? Doesn't really look like it though. They are just going to back off towards the mid. Okay, no, again, MYM and Dignitas, both teams backing off, getting ready to push back in. Looks like they are going to go back to farming, just picking up a few items here and there. Keeper of the Light still not a huge amount of items. I'm just wondering, the issue is, like, Keeper of the Light brings a bit of a global play on the fact that, you know, he can teleport around and bring people to him, and of course they've got Nature's Prophet, but the thing is they can't really utilize MYM. They can't use their ability to split push all that well, because if they try and split push, guess who's going to show up? Tiny and Wisp are going to show up and destroy whoever's trying to split push by themselves. So the thing is, MYM, they have to ball up, and I think this is frustrating them quite a bit, because they want to split push. They want to threaten all these lanes all at once, but they just cannot do it because Tiny and Wisp are just such a huge threat. And the Satanic is done. Oh dear. Satanic is done and dusted. And this is going to make Tiny extremely difficult to remove. He crits with Satanic on it. Look at that, just not even care. 1400 damage crits, does not give a damn. And then we got the BKB. He's also put the Mana Style. Hasn't used the Satanic yet. They are going to charge in Shadowfiend, trying to cause the damage. He's going to pop his Requiem now. It goes through, doesn't do enough damage. It barely even impacts him at all. A Chaos Meteor comes through. They have to pop the cheese. Down goes Keeper of the Light and Jakiro. This Rax is being chewed on by Tiny. He brings it down. The heals are being popped out by Dirge there. Calculus now of the next target. Tiny playing baseball with everybody. Cleans them up. He's going to go for another kill there. Cleans up both the Nature's Prophet and the Chaos Knight. Nature's Prophet buys back once again. Shadow barely escapes. The mid Rax is down. The bottom Rax is about to fall as well. Tiny is wrecking everything he touches. That alacrity is so damn good with him. Just popping out these crits. He has popped his Satanic in the middle of that fight as well. And there we go. They're going for Megas now. Tiny is just going to slam his way through these doors, slam his way through these buildings, no questions asked. The only two heroes up are Seraphine and Calculus. No way they can defend against this. And there we go. Mega Creeps. That is GG. I would say Dignitas. They're off to a bit of a shaky start. Off to a little bit of a shaky start, but they managed to pull it ahead in the end. Somehow, like they've been behind on experience in gold most of the match. And I'll bring this up here. They were behind in terms of gold for quite some time and brought this back, and even in terms of experience, they were ahead for a little while, but it dropped down during the mid game. It was becoming quite problematic for them. But they managed to hold it together, and this ganking, I think most of the fact that their global ganking really sort of counteracted any chance of Furion, as well as Keep It Alive to be truly effective with their global presence, the fact that they could split push. Anyway guys, this has been Triumph of Man casting Dignitas versus Meet Your Makers. Dignitas taking this 2-1. I will try and get a quick interview with Snaking or someone, if I can just stop hiccuping for a damn second here. But otherwise, stick around. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Thanks for watching, and of course, a big shout out to our sponsor, Steel